and we're back. This is Jose and the Fat Guy.
Fat Man.
The Fat Man. Jose and the Fat Man. Coming to you from Dreamline Comics in Schaumburg, Illinois. If you don't get that reference, it's from a comment that someone had. Did you take that comment off the board?
Yes, I did.
You did? I thought it was funny. I actually wanted to talk about it, but you took it off the board.
Yeah, well, I took it off the board and I banned him. So.
You banned him? Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, it's too bad.
Well, yeah, and I was like, okay, so what happened?
Well, it wasn't constructive.
It wasn't constructive. That's true.
It was constructive comments that go up there that don't add to any other discussion, I just take down.
What happened was somebody read my Scott Pilgrim review. They got angry about it. They said it was ignorant and frustrating. And that because of the fat guy, guys like the fat guy, which I'm assuming you meant me, because Jose, I mean, this is a digital camera.
That was your
review,
though. That when.
Huh? I don't know. And I went over the review too, going, what did they not like? I don't remember saying anything about the book that was really inflammatory. I just said I liked the first two books, but this one wasn't like.
No, it was the review for Volume 1, wasn't it?
No, it was Volume 2.
Yeah,
so.
I think the person was British, too.
Yeah, so. Yeah, oh yeah, I was a British fan, but, you know, hey. Anyway, the fat man here is named Elliot. I introduce this every friggin' segment we do. That's the part that puzzled me the most. Not the fact that they... that they got mad at my review, but they couldn't hold on to what my name was in their cerebral cortex long enough to actually use it.
Well, it doesn't sound like they really use their cerebral cortex too much.
But anyway, so the fat guy and Jose are going to review some books. First one came out. Did you review this on the blog?
No, I was going to, but then I figured that this was like a really good book, and I wanted to review it here.
Okay,
I didn't review. I only reviewed like 2 books this week on the blog because I got. Like I just said in the last few seconds, I got stuck working in the store, open to close, by myself for 3 days in a row. So when I came home, the last thing I want to do is write about comics. So that's why there weren't a lot of reviews.
Doom Patrol, #1 by Keith Giffen and Matthew Clark.
With an awesome backup story by G.M. DeMatteis and Kevin McGuire of the Metal Men.
And Keith Giffen, too. The old JLA team,
yep.
The classic JLA team back together again, which is pretty cool. Doom Patrol being kind of rebooted again. And they're kind of taking the Thunderbolts, or not the Thunderbolts route. It's like, what... I say Thunderbolts not because they're villains, but because they're like government operatives, but they're like one part Suicide Squad also.
Yeah, I kind of got the Suicide Squad vibe from this story, from this issue.
Because it's, the Doom Patrol are a group of misfit heroes who are sent in to deal with pretty, I guess you could call them the Hero Secret Six, in a way.
In a way.
Because the Secret Six deals with very grounded, real-world issues in a lot of cases, and this seems to be not so much real-world issues, but it's not over-the-top, James Bond villain stuff either, I gotta say, reading this, and I've always been a fan of Matthew Clark's, I'll be honest, in the beginning I was like, I don't know if he's really a Doom Patrol kind of artist. Mm-hmm. But he does pull this off rather nicely. Matthew Clark's strength has always been drawing women. Mm-hmm. And the scene with Elastigirl was pretty awesome. So, okay, so I'm sorry, I rambled a bit. It's a reboot of Doom Patrol. They're government are they really government operatives or like secret operatives for some?
Where they're working for somebody.
Group. Yeah,
they're working for somebody, which they don't really get into really clear yet. But yeah.
And to me, and someone help me here because I've been out of the loop as far as how all this DC continuity has been getting booted and rebooted. These are essentially the same characters from the original Doom Patrol that died back in the early run. And I know there have been, like, Robot Man's been brought back and Negative Man's been brought back. But
yes, I know it's kind of sacrilegious to say I've never read the Grant Morrison Doom Patrol run, but I
never read it either.
This is the only Doom Patrol series that I actually bought was the one that when they rebooted it, the one before the John Byrne one, which like ran 22 issues,
Uh-huh.
and Ten and Quet was drawing it, and it was an all new team, but Robot Man was the leader.
Yeah, you know what? That's the
And
one
that was
I
an
read.
awesome
Right,
run.
right.
And so I don't know, but anyway, sorry.
Beyond that,
Tangent.
I mean, just that little point of continuity aside. It's
Yeah, I
pretty
don't know
good.
how they're. Yeah,
It's pretty good. I only take one issue with it, and this is just me. There's some parts where you have like this text,
really small text.
It's like green text against a black
Yeah.
panel background. That text is hard to read, at least for me if I'm wearing my contacts. And as I'm focusing, it looks like really important stuff. You gotta, be able to read so that you can get
it's
the
a
full
synopsis
story.
of who the characters are in each one.
Well, again, if you've never read Doom Patrol before,
Right,
you
I know.
should be able to read that. So I just found it really difficult to read that text.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of that, the story starts really quickly, very briskly. You get introduced to all the characters in a quick paced manner.
Mm-hmm.
You get some interesting twists and turns. If you've read the old Doom Patrol, I mean, I'm looking this as sort of a reimagining of the old Doom Patrol.
Mm-hmm.
They do take the characters and sort of recast them so that the relationships are a little bit different. Someone a while back had, when we were talking about Doom Patrol, we had made a comparison between the Agents of Atlas and Doom Patrol. That the Agents of Atlas were the Doom Patrol of the Marvel Universe, but then someone said really the X-Men are, I think it was Pink Hamsterino or someone said the X-Men are Doom Patrol of the Marvel Universe.
There's that whole thing that that Marvel Stan Lee actually ripped the Doom Patrol off to make the X-Men.
X-Men.
Because there was this whole big thing that I remember reading about where there was a lot of artists and writers who were working for both Marvel and DC at the time in the early '60s, and one of the artists or writers or whatever that crossed over between both companies told Stan Lee about this book that DC was working on called the Doom Patrol.
Okay.
And so it could be argued that the X-Men are a ripoff.
There are some
similarities.
similarities there.
Yeah.
To be sure. Except in this Doom Patrol, the modern imagination, their Professor Xavier kind of hates them. It's just.
I found it interesting. It was just a good read.
Oh, it was a very good read. I hate them bring up these. I hate these reviews that we do where it seems like we don't like the book when in fact we really do like the book. This is actually a very solid book. It's got a great front feature. Doom Patrol brought back into the DCU.
And there's a good,
solid story, lots of action.
Yeah, and there's a good balance though between the Doom Patrol and then the Metal Men story, because the Doom Patrol is kind of like heavy, kind of
gritty,
grim,
dark,
yeah, exactly.
depressing
And then the Metal Men story is fucking hilarious and it's fun.
Yeah.
And it just they
is.
complement each other perfectly.
There's a light and dark to it, and the second part kind of cleanses your palate from the first one.
Yeah.
So this is it's a solid book, and it's funny too that you have Keith Giffen on both books, on both stories.
Mm-hmm.
So you see both his dark and serious side when he writes something, and then of course the light and playful side of him in the Metal Men series. So again, a great book, and another more evidence of how DC is putting together some really solid new books.
I mean, their backup stories are worth the extra $1 to get those, because they're all doing an awesome job. And I'm not even a huge Metal Men fan, but I'm a fan of this story
I was gonna say,
right
when
now.
you get McGuire,
Yeah.
Giffen, and DeMatteis on a story, that's pretty. What happens here? See, I love the Metal Men back from the old Joe Stanton days, and Platinum always had a thing for the Dr. Magnus, and are they gonna play that up again? And of course, very last page, there's Platinum. She wants to get in his pants, and I remember as a kid going, I don't see why he has an issue with it.
I mean, is this Copper actually a new character they created for this series?
Oh yeah, that's not the old Copper for sure. Yeah,
right.
So
because they keep making fun of the fact that she's here. She's like, I was on a plane ride over here with you guys. None of the Metal Men knew that she was there, even though she's the one that pretty much saved the day. And I know it was a really fun story.
It is a fun
Extremely
story.
fun.
The book in itself is a lot of fun, and it's a book that you really should think about picking up if you see it in the shop. So, we'll end this review there, and when we come back, we have another review of another title that we do enjoy.